Charcuterie. 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 I got it. Charcuterie. 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 Charcuterie.
Of like various ones that are good for like a certain prompt or whatever. I'm hoping.
Hello everyone, I just got home from work and this is getting to be a really nice week, or I was gonna say it's getting to be a really nice time of year, but it's also a very nice week just because I feel like, oops, I feel like I am caught up on a lot of work. I still have a bunch of stuff that I wanna do, like Christmas prep and stuff, but I just feel like I can come home and chill. Like that never happens. It's so nice. Anyway, so before I just kind of spend the evening reading, which is something I haven't done in so long, I just want to tell you a few things. One, I joined Storygraph. So if you're on there, feel free to add me. I'm Karen Evans Reads, just so it matches my Instagram, which is not a very creative handle, but one day I will read something in a book and it will give me this spark of insight into what my new channel name can be. Until then, it's Karen Evans Reads. What else was I gonna say? So I watched Heather's video today, and I actually watched it at work when I was cutting my lamination. And anyway, she was talking about how the Undercover reading prompt was probably the hardest one for her, and also the one that she was least interested in as a kid. And like for me, that was like, yes, out of all these prompts, that is the one we have to keep that one, because we had loads of other ideas and this kept like changing and morphing as we were talking in the past few months. So anyway, I wanted to share with you some of the books that I own that could fit this Undercover reading prompt. However, I'm sure there's loads of others. Like if I went into the library, I'm sure I would find all sorts of cool stuff. So let me pick up the book that I dropped, and then I will give you my ideas. Okay, so I have in my mind this certain type of book where they're in a mysterious place and they have to find hidden things and solve mysteries. And I think that the two classic ones that Heather mentioned were like perfect and exactly fit like what I'm thinking about. One was The Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil something something. I don't remember what it is, but you know what I mean. It's a long name. And then the other one was, oh gosh, what's that one with the will? The Westing Game. Anyway, both of those are so good. So good, especially the Westing Game. But that's kind of like the vibe I'm going for. So even if there isn't something hidden, like this is the vibe I'm going for. However, you do you. You make it your own and do your own thing. But this was the intention. And like Heather said, like the two of us are like the number one rule breakers, at least for me. Let me just talk for a second. I am such a square. I got in trouble in school once in my entire school career from kindergarten through 12th grade because we were in the computer lab, because this is back in the 90s when you didn't have like a device that was only yours. We were in the computer lab. We were supposed to be doing something. The girl next to me, Stephanie, was not doing what she was supposed to be doing. She was watching her screensaver. And I told her that she needed to get to work. She did not listen to me. So I wiggled her mouse so she would stop looking at it. And I got in trouble and my mom got a phone call. So that was that. And my mom, as a teacher, always told us that if we got in trouble at school, we would definitely like get in trouble at home. Like, you know, she's a teacher, she knows. But that, she was like, seriously? I think she laughed. Anyway, that was the only thing I ever did. But when it comes to books, I mean business. And I am a rule breaker. So take, for example, Doris's like little mid-month book bash thing she does. Oh yeah, I'm gonna cheat all the time on that. Start early, end late, whatever. I have snuck into reading events, literary events. I met Judy Blume, not because I had a ticket, but because I got myself in there by looking like I belonged. It was perfect. I also hold my own when I'm in line to meet authors. First of all, usually I form the line, but if I don't form the line, I am very into making sure that people do follow the rules and are behind me, because I have been in instances where little old women who know exactly what they're doing try and cut. It's not cool. Okay, so this is my announcement to say that you can cheat. But if you do not want to cheat, here are some examples of books. Peppermints in the Parlor. My 4th grade teacher, who has since passed away, read this to us, all sorts of voices. There is some fat shaming and problematic things in here now that I reread it as an adult. But basically, there's this girl, Emily. Her parents have just died, so she has to go and live with her aunt twice, her uncle and aunt twice. Anyway, they're loaded. They live in this mansion in San Francisco. She's been there before. Like, she doesn't really seem too sad that her parents have just died, but, you know, whatever. That's how orphans are in stories, I suppose. And so she basically gets off the train and there's no one there for her. And it kind of starts like this journey of like, this house isn't what she remembers. Her aunt and uncle aren't as she remembers them. And just like something super shady is going on, and she kind of has to like solve the mystery and figure out what the heck is going on with the house, what the heck is going on with her aunt and uncle, where is her uncle? Her uncle's like up and missing. It's really good. Okay, then there's The Mysterious Benedict Society, which I don't really remember a whole lot of, so I'd actually love to reread this and then read the other ones that follow. I know that it is about like this advertisement that was in the paper, and basically like all these gifted kids decide to take this test, and if they pass the test, then they are going to be admitted into the Mysterious Benedict Society. And I just remember like some rule breaking during the test that really stressed me out. So that's how much of a square I am. And yeah, I just remember I loved it. Loved it. I read it as an adult because I don't think it was published when I was a kid. Okay, the next one is Dual Timelines, Wonderstruck by Brian Selznick. Now, Brian Selznick, I didn't realize, is gay. So this is like, you know, if you want more LGBTQ authors in your home library, this is an amazing one. It's amazing before I even knew that he was gay. Like, it's just a great book. So basically what I love about his books are that you kind of open almost like a movie, and the illustrations are just beautiful. And I'm not sure if this book does it, but quite often you kind of zoom in. Yes, look at, you're getting closer. And you zoom in, and it just makes you feel like you are absolutely in this movie. So this book takes place in Wisconsin. I'm trying to remember all of it off the top of my head, but basically there's 2 characters. There is a blind girl who's living in the past, and then there's a boy who I think his mom just died too, or she needed a break or something. And he goes to live with his aunt and uncle. But I'll just read what it says because it does involve like finding hidden objects. So Ben and Rose secretly wish their lives were different. Ben longs for the father he has never known. Rose dreams a mysterious actress whose life she chronicles in a scrapbook. When Ben discovers a puzzling clue in his mother's room, which I think she has passed away, like I said, and Rose reads an enticing headline in the newspaper, both children set out alone on desperate quests to find out what they are missing. This was so good. There is like a museum involved. There is some disability stuff in here. And basically, oh my gosh, this is a crazy picture to turn to. Basically, it alternates between those beautiful, beautiful pictures and then like pages that are like, you know, a regular chapter book. Okay, and then also on this hybrid sort of book, The Selected Works of T.S. Spivot. This is by Reef Larson. Basically, it says, when 12-year-old genius cartographer T.S. Spivot receives an unexpected phone call from the Smithsonian announcing he has won the prestigious Baird Award, life as normal, if you consider mapping family dinner table conversations normal, is interrupted, and a wild cross-country adventure begins, taking T.S. from his family ranch just north of Divide, Montana, to the museum's hallowed halls. So this one, like, again, it would be good for a reread because I don't remember much about it other than that I loved it. I think this is super cool. Just like the way it's put together, there's like a little price. I remember the format of this was amazing, but I don't remember much about the plot, so it would be definitely another good for a reread. But again, you know, there's pages of text, and I would say most of this is text, but then there's all sorts of drawings and stuff by the main character that are in the margins. There's different lists and timelines, annotations, business cards, all sorts of really cool stuff in here, and I just thought it was a really, really fun read. So definitely something unique if that is your jam. This next one, again, this one I legit read as a kid, and I don't remember at all anything about this, so I will read the back, but I remember I loved it so much. And like I said, when I was in 3rd grade, we did this thing called Undercover reading, where our school or our class hamster was stolen, and we had these little clue books, and we had to read in order to get clues. It was like before Accelerated Reader, AR, but way better. Basically, we would have to read from a certain selection of titles, and then we had parent volunteers who would ask us questions from the text, and if we passed the test, then we got our next clue. This was one of the books, not necessarily in 3rd grade, I wouldn't think, because it's quite big, but we did like something like that in 3rd grade, something like that in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. So it was one of those years that this book was on the list. Zimbabwe, 2194. General Matsika's 3 children steal out of the house on a forbidden adventure and disappear. Their parents called Africa's most unusual detectives the ear, the eye, and the arm. Their mission takes them from the underbelly of the city to the swaying top of mile-high McWalmy Hotel. Yet the children stay just out of reach. The evils of the past, the technology of the future, criminals with plans far beyond what anyone can imagine. Can the children escape from the heart of it all? Okay, and then finally, anything by John Bellairs. Like, he is kind of like a gothic children's book author, where he just writes these creepy stories where there's homes with stuff hidden in the walls. There's times when you go to Boy Scout camp and then you pass this mysterious place and you find a mummy, a will in a crypt. I mean, like, all of his stuff is good. So those are some of my examples. I'm really curious, like, what other examples do you have? And bonus points, because I loved this little niche as much as I did because I love this little niche as much as I did as a kid, I would really love to know if there's any adult books like this, or is this just like my kid at heart that needs to just keep reading children's books in this little vein? Because I don't know. I don't know if there's any adult books that will scratch this itch of mine. So that is that. Editing Karen here. I have 2 more books to add that I forgot to mention. One is Last in a Long Line of Rebels, which is basically a less woke version of the next book I have on the list. But it's basically this kid, she's a little bit poor. She wants to have an epic summer, and she basically tells this popular girl at school that her summer is going to be better, blah, 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 blah. And then the other girl teases her because she's poor. She can't even go anywhere. And so she like prays to God to have an awesome summer. And then she overhears that her family, who lives in this really, really old house, might be kicked out of it. So she's scared that she's losing her house. She finds out that there could possibly be hidden gold, so she tries to find it. Now, this book is very good. It deals a lot with racism and stuff like that, but it's told by a white writer, so it just kind of like touches on the surface of things when it could have gone a lot deeper. It is still really good. I just think the next one is so much better. So the next one is The Parker Inheritance by Varian Johnson. I think that's their name. And this one, such a similar premise, but way deeper, way better. There's both race and LGBTQ plus things in there, plus it's just amazing. Basically, this girl has to move to, I forgot what state, like I want to say one of the Carolinas. I could be completely wrong. Anyway, she goes to her grandma's house in the summer because her parents are kind of separated and dealing with some stuff, and her grandma has passed away. So her and her mom go to her grandma's former home just to kind of clean it up, get it ready, blah, blah. And that's where they are. This girl does not want to go there because she wants to be with her friends all summer. And plus, like, think about how traumatic it would be, or how just difficult it would be to have all these memories of being in your grandma's house over the summer when your grandma is no longer with you. Like, heartbreaking. Anyway, and by the way, the main character is Black. So her grandma was like the first like Black something of the city, like super big deal. However, her grandma got a letter that there was something hidden, and there were these clues she had to follow, and she followed them all, and she thought that she would find the mystery underneath the tennis courts. So late at night, her grandma decides that she's gonna hire a crew and dig up the tennis courts. Well, number one, what are people going to think when they find out? Number two, she didn't find anything. So she just destroyed the town's tennis courts for no reason. So now this girl is going back to this town where her grandma was like basically shamed and fired from her job for trying to find this gold. Or I don't remember if it was gold, but some sort of something from a mystery. And that is kind of where the book kind of begins, after you know this backstory, because the main character finds the clues that her grandma had initially received. They were in a letter, and she and her friend, the next door neighbor or the across the street neighbor, decide that they are going to solve this mystery. It is amazing, and it's actually probably my number one recommendation from this list. So I can't believe I forgot it, but it's probably because one of my students is borrowing it, and also I bought 11 copies for my classroom so I can study it as a class. It is so good, and definitely the top one from this list. Okay, wait. I have two more things. One, have you guys read Among the Hidden? Because this is a children's book that even adults love, and you need to read it. Basically, it takes place probably in the future or in some dystopian sort of society where you can only have 2 kids, and Luke is the third child in his family. He lives kind of in the country, and so he's decently safe, but every time somebody knocks on their door or something, they have to be ready at a moment's notice to, like, if they're eating dinner, like, put all his food away, put his chair back into the corner, like make it look like he was not just sitting there. And anyway, so he's in this life where from time to time he has to hide, but for the most part, like, no one really goes by there. But then they start building this really affluent subdivision behind the woods in his house. And suddenly he has people that would be able to see into his house from their home. And yeah, he's also becoming a teenager, so he's getting a bit rebellious. And this story is basically what happens with that. Super, super good. It's so short. Like, please read it if you haven't. It's so good. And the other thing I wanted to talk real quick about, not just nerdy TV shows, because I have a lot of them, so that would need to be something else. But did you guys ever watch Ghostwriter in the 90s? So I think this has made a comeback. I believe there's like a new version of it on Netflix or something. But basically, these kids found this ghost that would write to them. And so they basically solve mysteries by writing notes to the ghost, and the ghost will write back, or he will pick up like visual written information places, and he returns them to the kids as clues. So they might have like something jumbled or whatever that they have to use to solve a mystery. And yeah, that was like the best show, and I would love to see if I could watch it again and see if it was still amazing. But yeah, look at what these kids look like. I think it was on PBS.